Alright, we're back again with this. And this time I solved the problem of our sketchy way of recording these calls and such by going all the way to Denmark just so we could record these videos. So,
Hooray!
thank me later. Alright, and yeah, as she teased there, we now have been asked to do who I think is everyone's favorite character, or was, or whatever, but yeah, Fluttershy.
Well, not my favorite, but yeah, probably a lot of people like her, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember, just a lot of people who, really seemed like they were Fluttershy crazy, yeah, and she's the cutest one, the one that, is asking you to bring your love to her, not, yeah, demanding that you see her as awesome or brilliant as a fashionista or anything like that. I mean, she's cute is what I'm saying.
Well, kind of. AJ is still my favorite.
Yeah, actually, early on I thought that Rainbow Dash was cuter. I thought all her moments where she was cute without trying to be were so much cuter than the moments where they were trying as hard as they could to make Fluttershy cute. So for example, green isn't your color will not be appearing on my list here, but okay. All the same, a lot of people do like Fluttershy, so yeah. A lot of big popular Fluttershy episodes, and I'm sure at least a couple of them will be appearing on our list, so
yeah.
I think it was your turn to start.
Oh yeah, that's true, and it's going to be a blast from the past. It's Dragonshy.
Dragonshy.
Yeah,
Solid choice.
I think it's one of her first episodes, right?
I think it's the first one.
Is it? Okay.
Well, yeah, because the pilot, Applebuck season, the pilot Ticketmaster Applebuck season, the Griffin the Brush Off, Trixie's Ghostbusters thing, and then Dragonshy, so yeah.
Yeah, but I just really like it because it's, the basic face your fears and, keep your friends safe, stand up for your, what you love and want to protect and stuff like that, so that's why I really like it, yeah.
I really like the thing about, don't, you never know who has it in them, or we could also say maybe everybody has it in them if they could, if they can find it, but I mean, although I lean more towards it's, you never know who has it in them, because I mean, we'd already seen that Fluttershy could be brave, but with the thing with the Manticore in the first episode, and
but this is more like strength, right? Where the other one was helping. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she, I don't know, there was a sense of just total lack of fear in that, or of confidence even in the Manticore thing. I mean, yeah, Fluttershy, when she finally found it in her to yell, "Wait!" and start asserting herself, she was able to take charge very smoothly of that scenario, which is where I almost have a problem with Dragonshy, because they seem to almost take it back in the direction of almost the Scooby-Doo sort of thing. No, Fluttershy is cowardly. She almost can't even help it, but except for that one thing that...
Don't hurt her friends.
Yeah, they wanted it to almost be like the droopy dog, you know what, that makes me mad. And then he can beat up anybody.
I think Fluttershy is a lot better than Droopy, so yeah.
Which, I didn't see enough Droopy cartoons to, I mean, he's fun. Yeah. But,
I also like the others in the episode and Dragon as well, yeah.
This is very much a stick it to Rainbow Dash kind of episode.
Yeah, but I think Fluttershy is the one that shines most in it, because I also feel like maybe the others didn't believe almost that she had it in her, but when facing, her friends actually getting killed or hurt,
bullied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I first reviewed this episode in blog form, I was I mean, they seem to really want us to think she's cowardly, and I think that they almost do it in a way that maybe contradicts the, everyone has it in them, like it's not wrong to be afraid, all of that, and like some people in the comments section tried to explain to me like, no, Fluttershy is cowardly, but if you mess with her friend, like they seem to almost like the idea of it as this cartoon gag, and I'm just like, it's been...
I like that too, because it's also almost like that in real life as well. You want to protect the ones that you love, no matter what,
Yeah, well, I mean, the show, heck, even that many episodes in, I could tell that they wanted to make this cartoon a little, like, more than the sort of just the cartoons that are real jokey about it, make it a little more like it is in real life, and that's why I wasn't a fan of making it, to the extent that they did just like this gag I've seen before that just, like a split personality thing more than a don't underestimate somebody thing.
Well, but you have our number 5?
Yeah. That's all you want to say about it? Okay, well, yeah, okay. My number 5, before anything else, my number 5, the actual number 5 is Viva Las Pegasus. Viva Las Pegasus is, my 5th favorite episode in which Fluttershy has a starring role. It's the 5th great one that she's in, but I already did Viva Las Pegasus. I talked about it on the Applejack list, and don't want to shortchange anybody, but
that is a good episode though, yeah?
And the thing is though, after Viva Las Pegasus, I don't think Fluttershy has any more great ones. Like, Fluttershy for the longest time, I mean, it was stuff like Dragonshy where, okay, I want to get behind this so much, and I can see exactly how it should be great, but, I mean, I don't know, they always seemed, stuck in second gear, I guess the expression is, or at least from that one song it is, but, that just never seemed to quite take it up into overdrive, and, even a Hurricane Fluttershy, I don't know, they almost seemed afraid to go for broke, this was back when, okay, they wanted things that would actually help people and not, just these overly melodramatic scenarios to, where, okay, they're always trying to go for broke, but they don't always seem to be, doing it with as much intelligence, where, okay, that's how I feel a lot now. Back in the day, it was like my only problem with giving A grades seemed to be like, I mean, I respect that you're doing it in ways that are actually, that people can actually relate to, but I mean, maybe, I mean, come on, we want to love these characters, don't be afraid to go too much for, but the one that came the closest would actually have to be Putting Your Hoof Down.
Oh.
So, that is my number 5, because, I mean, I think, this is the one that, this and Ne'er-Do-Well are the ones people love to hate on, and I don't think either of them are justified, because I think, I mean, even back in season 2 when they came out, we had at least a couple episodes that were verging on just, incompetent writing or just unlikable writing, and yet their problem is the characters are mean. They can't be mean! It's Fluttershy, she's adorable! And that guy's criticizing us for not liking she's made. What a jerk! But, I mean, okay. Disclaimer, my least favorite episode in the entire series, so spoiler for whenever I make a worst list, is One Bad Apple. I think that is a terrible episode on bullying, and I think everyone,
Spoil mine.
Bully character is incredibly unlikable there, although I wouldn't say it's just her fault. I wouldn't say she's the only reason why. But anyway, okay. Yeah. Putting Your Hoof Down, I think, is the episode that did a lot right that episode did wrong. I think that bullying is one of the more important topics you can talk to kids about, and actually I think that Putting Your Hoof Down in a lot of ways kind of absolutely nailed it on the mindsets of people who experience that kind of bullying. People go how could Fluttershy do that to her friend? How could she not? I mean, have you, I don't say I've experienced anything exactly like that, but I mean, even in the ballpark, I mean, this kind of thing is so relatable. Just like the idea of just feeling so helpless about something for so long and then suddenly not. Like, I mean, you know, even on stuff where you kind of know it's wrong, I mean, just how freeing that is. But I mean, this, okay, is like legitimately, okay, Fluttershy, you know, she feels like she's solved her problem, you know, she feels like, okay, Iron Will, I mean, heck, she has this pseudo mentor now even who said, no, this is how you should solve your problems, and I mean, and you know, to an extent, he's not wrong, because I mean, you know, like, he's talking about, okay, when people mistreat you, and self-respect does matter, you know, it is, I mean, to an extent, you do have to be ready to put your hoof down, you know, stand up for yourself, and, okay, I mean, and he takes it a little bit too far, but yeah, Fluttershy, you get a taste of something, it's easier to be like, wow, this salt makes the popcorn taste good.
Just a little bit more salt.
But, okay, but so yeah, and actually, it sounds like I just outright love this episode, but okay, what keeps it out of, my, of me saying it's great is that, okay, I do think that they, once again, make it a little gimmicky, like what the thing with Angel Bunny, for example, they try to hammer that in by just like, cranking him up to 11 on the Angel Bunny scale, like, is this a regular thing between them? He throws his food out of the house, and then he throws out Fluttershy, like, I mean, is that supposed to be a gag, or is it supposed to be, oh, poor Fluttershy, like, I mean, you know, I could see moments like that at least setting the stage for, like giving people room to come in there with like, oh, it's so unlikable, everybody's so over the top, and they're all just jerks. They're all just total jerks. And, honestly, there's not much here that doesn't actually happen in real life. In fact, everybody gives the guy selling the cherries such a hard time. Like, he almost seemed like in a weird sort of way he was trying to life coach Fluttershy a little bit like, oh, well, you're gonna give in to me? Well, I'm gonna push it a little bit farther then, you know? You're just gonna keep letting me push it forever, and, but, I mean, like, he's not a nice guy either, but you almost wonder there if he was trying to, like, just like, I don't know, let's give this kid a taste of how life works, see if she can wise up, but,
I think it's really cool.
The stuff like the other thing is like the degree to which Fluttershy gets carried away with it. Like everybody goes nuts over what she says to Pinkie Pie and Rarity. I almost had more of a thing with like, okay, somebody bumps into her and she throws him across town. I'm like, that almost seemed like a gag that didn't realize it was a gag, except for the part where he's like, hey, she happened to throw me exactly where I was going, and like they almost go not too mean, but like too exaggerated, too silly almost in demonstrating it. So, all right, it's not a perfect tapestry, but I do think it has some pretty vibrant colors on there.
Yeah.
And the moment where, okay, Fluttershy, okay, now that, it's like, okay, party's over, time to wake up with a hangover, that, she realizes that, okay, how she's gone too far and she's ashamed to almost even try again, but then Iron Will puts her on the spot, and okay, sometimes it takes a sink or swim moment, and Fluttershy, just trying to be like, okay, I'm just gonna say no. Like, nothing more, nothing less than that, just no, and it and she finds that level between aggressive and passive where it's assertive, the recommended one. I mean, that's pretty believable, pretty well demonstrated for, something that has to fit all of that into one runtime, and, and heck, I don't even think that they pass off the blame onto Iron Will, like this episode also gets accused of doing. I think that, the fact that they go out of their way to make him reasonable about it. Like they're all like gearing up, like they're gonna be. Oh no, he's gonna try to really get in her face, and she's gonna have to suddenly become an expert at this. He's just like, well, you sure? I mean, can we at least bargain on this? Like, all right, that deal's a deal, and I'm not satisfied. All right, fine. that's it. It's like they set him up to be like, oh no, they're gonna shift the blame onto him, and that's what I think they kind of do in One Bad Apple, and they go out of their way not to do it here by demonstrating how he's reasonable. That okay, no, it was Fluttershy's fault, but okay, because of that, Fluttershy learning to rein herself in. Like, yeah, it's man, or in this case, pony versus self is the conflict. Yeah. And Fluttershy triumphs. So I like it. But yeah, got lost in the middle of that a bit, so that's pretty good. But all right, over to you.
Well, when you look at that, my number 4 is putting your hoof down.
Oh well, clearly I have said everything that could possibly be said about it, so you don't. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's really important, as you said, with learning children how to stand up for yourself, and also think like it's giving a good point if you had enough, right? If your glass get filled, or how to say that, you have a tendency to lash out on people that you love. So that is what happens to who is it? Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie, or is
Rarity and Pinkie Pie?
Oh yeah, Rarity and Pinkie Pie, because like she's so fed up with all of this. And she don't, get what she wants to say out there, and and she feels like she's overlooked. She's been overlooked her whole life, right? Like, I couldn't imagine feeling like this, but at some point, the glass will just overflow and fall down, and I think like that was what happened also to the guy that she throws away, because so little is enough for her at this moment, because she have been pushed aside. She don't know how to assert herself and be proud of actually who she is, and I think like that's what Iron Will is trying to teach her. But I will agree with you that he takes it a little bit too far, but I think it's actually necessary to take it this far. Because
sometimes you need a sample before you can.
Yes,
and you need an extreme push before you can.
Yeah, and
walk.
Yeah, and I must admit I have been in that situation before with having my glass so full, so it actually breaks or falls over, and you just have to reach out to someone, and trust me, it's not going to be a good experience for the ones that you love, or the ones that care about you, because they will see a whole other side. Also, the thing that she sees in the mirror, she sees herself with the horns and stuff where she's tied up. I think that's a really strong image for children. Also, you're taking on this persona, and you don't want to be like that. But after here, she becomes a little bit more assertive. As you said, she learns to say no, and she talks with our Iron Will to get her money back. And I actually think that's really strong, because I don't know if I could do stuff like that in real life, being like, I want my money back for a course like that. But
I mean, well, they don't always literally, I don't know if they always literally mean, okay, all you have to do is say you're not satisfied, alright, I'll rate you. And then, guaranteed. Honestly, what I thought was a stronger image than that, though, is when she's sees her reflection in the puddle, and I mean, it's okay, you think you've seen this moment 100 times, but I mean, it's they almost barely even play it any differently. She just she's about to cry for a second, and then she just almost evenly just says, I'm the monster.
Yeah.
I mean,
she realized what she did was wrong with hurting her friends and stuff like that. So I actually think it could have gone further. So I think.
Well, I almost think it was stronger because it didn't go further. You expect this crying scene or this "what have I done," and instead she just even as she's about to tear up, she just almost like lets that pass, like she's already made up her mind, and then just forward, she's like, I'm the monster, and like and then just turns around and walks inside. I'm just like,
yeah. Your heart is going to explode, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like so like. Oh wait. Well, it's like because it's so underplayed, it's almost like that. Yeah, it's talks a little, but it says a lot. It's like.
But I think like what I meant with it could have gone further was her being rude to her friends. Actually, I think like the episode didn't go far enough, and a lot of you out there is going to be like, oh my god, how far do you want it to go? Well, let's just say, like last time it happened to me, it went place where, you know, actually after I realized what I have done, there's no coming back from that. So yeah.
But I forgive you after they scraped me off the ceiling.
You silly. Not that accident, that was yesterday night. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna try to push this joke farther. Should I like open this up and it says help?
Yeah.
I'm scared. She is so strong.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true, yeah.
like, which, well, I mean, Flutter, like, I guess they could have made it more of a personal thing, like, and they just, like, all they really do is say, just like, okay, we don't think that was a good idea, and then she.
But that was what happened to me. It was so personal and so, like, something I don't regret doing it because that can't be helped. But yeah, I talked a lot with my dad about it, so yeah. Came further and came over, what happened.
Yeah, I mean, whereas with Flutter, like, she almost has to regret it because it's only really personal one way. That, like, she just digs into them, and I mean, she is, like, harsh in that moment, and I mean, this is what really gets everybody that just, like, well, how can there be any justification for that?
Yeah.
And I mean, how can there, everything she did past, heck, even the moving ponies out of the way by upending their garbage load, that was wrong, but I mean,
I don't actually think she does anything that's unforgivable, not like I did, so, yeah.
Well, I mean, we say things we don't mean sometimes, and I mean, and I think that, well, I mean, where I feel like the relatability in that comes in is that, okay, Fluttershy, well, even if it's not necessary, and again, none of it was necessary, it's like, I mean, the turning the tables, it's not even just like, oh yay, my turn, it's that Fluttershy, she's already used to taking, like, this is almost what she feels like everybody does to her reflected back at them, so I mean, like, in her mind, this isn't too much pain to take. It's like, okay, I've taken it for years. I mean, how is it like, I'm still standing. It's almost like, hey, I get to win this time. Yeah. And anyway.
I like that, yeah.
But then, she sees herself reflected back at herself, and that she doesn't like.
No.
But,
or maybe we should move on to number 3.
All right. Yeah. So we beat this episode into the ground. Okay, I believe it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, it's my number 4. We're not even on number 3. Okay, but it's one I don't need to say much about because I think I've talked about it like 3 or 4 times in my last few videos. Discordant Harmony.
Oh. Look at that. I'm just going to go.
I think it's a good thing we got so into putting your hoof down because this might be a short list. Otherwise, I mean, actually, Viva Las Pegasus, I might. I guess I like that a little better than Discordant Harmony 2, maybe. But I mean, it's like. Okay, well, 2, I mean, said it a bunch of times, 2 key ingredients. One is Discord. Possibilities for fun are endless with him. He has such a fun personality. He has just about, heck, he has one of the best gimmicks that could go with a fun, showy personality. He can do literally anything. Yeah. So, sky's the limit. And they don't actually do the best job taking advantage of it. Like, of all things, they use the rule of 3 storytelling habit. Like, he goes here, and they can't believe he's friends with Fluttershy. He goes here and makes the same kind of order, but they can't believe he's friends with Fluttershy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, not, well, so, if it weren't for the first act, I might have said this episode had too far of a comeback to make to even be a great one. But yeah, I mean, he's hilarious in the first act, and the thing with Pinkie Pie, she's looking at her list behind the camera. The thing with Pinkie Pie is a fun touch, but I mean, yeah, like what brings it back from its kind of lull in that act. Well, granted, remaking His House was kind of fun, even though they also did sort of a methodical approach on that. But what brings it back past that is, yeah, where Fluttershy steps up, and I mean, it turns out to not just be Discord stealing the show, it's how both of them, like, come together and meet and form this friendship that we have. You know, we're finally getting into that a little bit, and, you know, not just being told about it, but, you know, seeing it at work. It's like they said, show don't tell, and they show us what Fluttershy is willing to do for him and how she enjoys his company. I mean, that's just so sweet. Like, we should get more episodes with them together.
Yeah, I really want that as well, yeah.
It's really sweet, and it's just, I mean, it's just such an inherently, it's just such an inherently likable idea that, like, these two with just very likable, different but very likable personalities can both bring what they bring to the table and, create something they enjoy even more.
I actually also see a little bit of our relationship in
Well, sure, she's a bit more showy, and I'm a bit more on the dignified side. But I'll have you know we're besties.
I hope that we're more than besties.
Well, we have to be because we're dating. So
Else what am I supposed to do with this again?
Plus that Renaissance notion, like I mean, lovers are always lovers. The impressive part is when you also manage to be friends.
What are you supposed to do with that then?
Become Don Corleone?
I don't know.
Alright, you kiss the ring. Alright, now I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. You hear me?
I'm just so surprised because look at my number 3.
Number 3.
Discordant harmony.
Okay, well.
So much there to say. But I do agree with you. I really love them. I ship them, of course, with Fluttercord. But I also like the scene of his house, and you know, we actually get to know Discord a little bit better with all of this, and him bumping into Pinkie Pie when he's buying all of this weird stuff. Yeah, I think like it's also a way to show like you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself, and you know, don't let others push you to something that you're not. Yeah, actually. I think I get that out of it, and I really love the ending with them roasting marshmallows upside down in his house, because it really shows how far also like Fluttershy have come with all of this accepting. I think she always accepted him, but I think you know what I mean with, you know, all of this extravagant stuff. You know, the old Fluttershy would maybe think it was a little bit too much.
So taking full command of her kind, accepting personality, and used to embrace people. Embrace
Discord, but she was also expecting, and I love that, she was expecting all of this shenanigans, and what she got was, instead Mr. Rogers. And also the scene where he actually is so normal, so he fades away. And that makes Fluttershy, you know, panic, and she wants to be doing chaos, failing first, but it's cute, yeah.
The scene where she
can And still I'm thinking about
that was pretty cute. Fluttershy can still get me with cuteness sometimes.
And again, I'm thinking about what you want to do for your loved ones, right? You will do whatever it takes to...
I mean, that was a good surprise. It was nice that the episode went outside the box. Like,
because
it had visual creativity.
Watching it and you being like, okay, it's going to be predictable, and then that happened,
Yeah,
and
it
we
was
were
up to
just
there.
like
I'm like,
going.
and it makes me wonder, okay, like why it even. I don't know if they just had all their chips on that surprise, and like the rest, like the middle portion, they were like, okay, we got to do this to set it up, but then the surprise, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like.
But I also
not
like
very
the
creative with
when
whole thing
he's
while you're
going
at
out and buying stuff and he's getting asked so much. Yeah, are you sure? And I'm just like, yeah, of course he's sure, but yeah, I think
But they
it's
even say
good.
basically the same things in the same way with the same
Yeah.
setup. It just there's such a methodical feel. Like even when he summons other copies of himself to help change up his house. Like I mean, there's some fun joke. Pinatas hate
Or
bats,
vacuuming,
the
or lava.
Yeah, like there's visual creativity,
So
but
good.
even there's just such a sense of going through the motions, like the methodical process that okay, first this, then this, all to the same purpose. Like,
Yeah.
but it's Discord. It's like you'd watch him read the phone book if they. You
Yeah,
wouldn't watch him
that's
star in
true.
What About Discord, but you'd watch him read the
Yeah.
phone book. He's that
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, but I can see we're not going to agree with number 2, so
Okay,
let's
well,
see.
my number 2 is or no, this is my number 3. You went first. All right, stop doing that to me. My number 3, speaking of Discord, is make new friends but keep Discord.
Oh, that's nice.
Because this one, okay, I said Discord and Harmony went through the motions a bit. Make new friends but keep Discord was giving you everything the whole way across, and it knew exactly where its strengths were, it knew exactly what it wanted to be, okay, it's not the plot, which is, okay, just the setup, just the clothesline to start hanging stuff on, okay, what it cares about is the characters and the fun, the gags, I said in my review, like the great Marx Brothers comedy of old, the plot was just clothesline to, or just the bread to sandwich as many gags as possible between, but, and, okay, just, I think I gave myself 2 times, 2 different videos to rant about all the different great stuff in there, and I still don't think I got through all of it, just like the Metal Gear Solid reference, and the Pinkie Pie grabbing the camera, and
that's where it's jealous,
and the smooths, and where he cleans up Rarity, and he pulls out a Rodney Dangerfield reference trying to do stand-up, and he still can't be funny, and Maud can. That's what I hate that impression of Maud's stand-up comedy in that new Mudbriar episode, because that's what Maud should be like. She should be dry and hard to read at first, but she should do it like have some awareness of what she is and what she's doing. That's so funny. Like, Maud doesn't even have to try, like Discord is trying to do the Gallagher routine, but come on, this is the most basic of jokes. You're the most basic of jokes, and she makes everyone laugh instead. Like, that was so great.
There's a lot in that episode, I think, like having references and stuff like that, right? There's also Dumb and Dumber.
He shows up in a Dumb and Dumber tuxedo. That's so funny. That is one of those episodes that can make me laugh out loud, and that they're just trying so hard and having so much fun with it, and trying hard, like, not to, not in a try-hard way, like they're not, like, belaboring something, or, trying to draw something out for more of its worth, to think, okay, what else can we do with this? How else can we have fun? Okay, the smooths, now it's time to play that card. Okay, he's eaten too many jewels, he's huge and destructive now, so what would be a really fun way to calm him down? Oh, how about, Tree Hugger pulls out some of her hippie wisdom, and lo and behold, that's what it takes.
Yeah, I just love when he's ripping a hole to a whole other dimension, and that sock puppet come off, and you're just like, what is going on?
And the only reason it's not placed higher on my list is that, okay, when they for an episode that just does just so cut loose, so okay, let's just have as much fun with it as possible. Like, okay, when it does cut back to the plot, okay, how is Discord gonna resolve this with Fluttershy? It becomes such a drag. It's just so tedious at the moments. I don't know if they thought that this was another way to make a fun gag, like, okay, Discord comes back 3 times after he meets Treehugger to be like, I have to go. It has nothing to do with seeing you or not seeing. Get it? Because it does!
Yeah, he's jealous, yeah.
And the coughing on.
Get it. Yeah.
It's just like, it's just awkward is the extent they take it to. It's like, I mean, I don't even know if it's like intended as cringe humor. It just is cringe.
I think so, yeah. But it's a good thing to learn, you know, children not to be too over jealous.
Yeah, well, it's a good. I mean, as you like it, I'm just talking about how they play it with the.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, Discord trying to upstage Treehugger, and they don't make it like this big comedic failure. They don't make it it's something that moves his character along or like moves the thing between him and Fluttershy along. They just make it awkward, and I mean it's kind of a fail on his part, but more than anything, it's just awkward. It's kind of the same feeling I had about Party of One, like when they don't really like it's all of this increasing awkwardness. Like it doesn't seem like it's happening to a purpose in particular. It's just giving Pinkie Pie empty space to be increasingly weird in.
Not what we want, yeah.
And I mean, and it's I don't know. Maybe Party of One could have been a great episode if it fixed that. Make new friends, but keep Discord. I feel like it keeps itself in A range on my card by at least acknowledging that he took it too far. That making him accept that and deal with that at least. But all right, over to you.
Oh, what is it now? Number
2.
Flutter Brutter. Most of you out there will be like, yeah, we don't like that episode, right?
I don't know. I feel like I said
so
that.
Cute. Like with I don't. Of course, we are not going to love the brother because we are the brother. Remember, we are, the kids that are going to move home to their parents because they, doesn't have anything and, all of this.
Let's not try to play like down with the kids too much. We are just a little older than that, but.
Yeah, but still, though, it's true with this, and I think like he just got so used to everybody being pushed over by him that he was like, yeah, I can do this, especially to my parents because like they love me, so I can do whatever I want. But I really love the episode for actually saying to actually teens like us that it's not okay.
We're not teens, but
but you know what I mean, grown-ups as well, that it's not okay to come back home and mess up your
I thought you were going to say saying it to Zephyr Breeze, but I mean...
Yeah, Zephyr Breeze, yeah.
The thing about that, like, everybody seemed to worry ahead of time, like, oh, they want to stick it to bronies now, some people did, and instead what they seemed to complain about more was just that Zephyr Breeze was so unlikable, and I mean, I almost wonder if what they tried to do was just make him so ridiculous that nobody could see themselves in him.
But I do see myself in him, though. Yeah.
Don't tell anybody that. I think we're going to cut this part out.
I don't care. I just think like we relate so much to him, so he's becoming unlikable.
Well, I mean, like just the part where he's like constantly figuring his way out of stuff, and he just refuses to. It just doesn't even seem to occur to him that anything he did was wrong, or I mean, he's like destroying his parents' stuff, like and he's harassing Rainbow Dash. I mean, tell me you haven't quite done that level of stuff.
Just keep quiet. Let him talk.
Oh, come here, you.
Like you never tried to harass somebody you liked. No.
I conduct myself with dignity and grace.
Come on, we have all tried, and also this with moving back to my parents, and well, I have never destroyed my parents' stuff. I will say that, like, that's was a little too much, but I also think like most young teens doesn't understand and doesn't have the respect for their parents like we do.
Most is a broad generalization.
Yeah, but I don't know how to explain this, but it just seems like it's getting a little bit more easy to, you know, push over your parents. I know that was a little harsh to say.
Well, I mean, I do like how it ends with, okay, it's not just a stick it to the not even the man, the little guy kind of, the little punk kind of episode. It's not even that. It's like it goes in the end for like, okay, you know, what is this kind of person afraid of? What does this kind of person need to hear to make them want to do it? Okay, and not just so that we can stop calling them a jerk, but want to do it for themselves, you know?
Yeah, and I also really love the development because, again, I'm thinking about myself, how I came from, you know, the taking my courses, my ninth grade classes to multimedia designer, and now I'm a digital concept developer. He's like, you know, you want to be willing to take that chance of him being the hairdresser, right? That's what he wants. And I really, something personally hit me with the song also, you know, they are being proud of him and trying to get him move further, and Fluttershy trying to help him find a good job, but what he loves to do, that's what he's meant to do, right? So I really feel like he came a long way, and maybe he needs to live with his parents, but he got the job, so
well, I mean, you know, and okay, it does acknowledge at the end that sometimes, you know, you're not going to have a job right out of the gate, but I mean, as long as you're making progress and stuff, you know, like that's not wrong. It's wrong to just mooch, just to take advantage of that.
But I also, with him being left alone in the forest and all of this, I actually can imagine that. Like, I have never tried this, but like thinking about not having a place to be, or you know, someone that's willing to take you in. That's actually pretty hard, yeah.
Scary thought, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like, and I also feel like it's a good reference to what is it, Castaway, and stuff like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, and yeah, I don't see the hate towards
I kind of do. Like, I mean, it's like I said, I felt like they tried to take him just so over the top to maybe not to make sure that people could still laugh at him instead of. Yeah. I mean, I actually think it might have been better if they had made him
more realistic.
Well, like still a jerk, and tried to make us relate to him. See yourself in him a bit. Like if they'd tried to make it seem more relatable and even sympathetic at points. You know, that's where. Heck, you know, don't be afraid to do hard-hitting satire. Stick that knife in and twist it.
Yeah, that I do agree with that.
I mean, instead they just like, because I mean, I would have, had they done it well, I would have not only accepted it, but I would have said it was an even better told story. Like as is, they just set aside so many moments to make it the Zephyr Breeze show. The Zephyr Breeze is a jerk show. I'm like,
I don't see it like that.
I'll just stare at my watch that I or nobody else has anymore until we're done with that. Although I will say, like in my top 10 season 6 episodes, though, I said that okay, like I prefer something like this over the Fault in Our Cutie Marks, the Gabby the Griffin thing, because I don't think it's just about how so lovable this character who needs help is, and then by helping him, the main characters get all kinds of praise. So yeah, everybody wins and it's all happy and everyone's friends and life is perfect and wish fulfillment. Now give us your checks. Yeah. So, but I mean, I did still say that okay, it wasn't gonna make my top 10 list either because. Like I felt like they actually went too far, making sure Zephyr wasn't a lovable little cute bundle of cuteness. I thought they detracted from it, and I had more people, I mean, granted, maybe everybody's just, he's hopeless by now, but I had more people show up to defend Flutter Brutter than Fault in Our Cutie Mark, so maybe it's not so.
There we go. But you're number 2, right?
Before my battery expires. Keep calm and flutter on. And, this is the original Discord Fluttershy episode.
I'm going again.
Don't
need me.
Well, what can I say? Discord is fun as always. It does show a little bit of that tackiness season 3 was picking up. Like, Celestia, with all due respect, how could you bring Discord here? But, just like that heavy-handed comedy that's just lame and obvious, and I mean, it's where I've started to feel like a more typical show to me in that season. But anyway,
no, it doesn't matter.
But Discord. The second he comes out, he starts stealing the show, and I mean, he was still a little bit of a jerk. Well, he's always a little bit of a jerk, but I mean, he was still a villain at the time, and still got off on how far above on like all the things he could do these ponies couldn't keep up with, and and they do make you wonder to an extent. I mean, like there's almost, it's really, I mean, you have a tough time buying that Discord could be redeemed as cleanly as well, heck, at all, but I mean, they always were skirting around the fact that he had infinite power. Like the Return of Harmony, I feel like one of the weak points in that episode is he's essentially just leading the gang in circles, and we know he's leading the gang in circles because, like, the second they let on what he can really do, it's like, oh, okay, well, this could all be over like that. We're just watching hijinks ensue until they feel like getting to the point that he's already won, and now this episode has to skirt around the fact that he's already won, but like, or that he should be able to win just by snapping his fingers now and hiding the elements again, or mind wiping all of them again. They're like, well, they have the elements on, so like maybe he can't do anything about that. Maybe it's like when somebody has a loaded gun to your head, like you don't want to try to swipe it away, even though the second he does any magic, that like he does a lot of magic in this episode, and I mean, if he can do anything, including mind wipe anyone he wants, as we already saw he can, it's like, you're all dogs again, ta-da. But so okay, it has to skirt around that. It has to, there are moments of tackiness, like I said, and it also has to skirt around the fact that, okay, it seemed like Discord was pretty aware of what he was doing before, so like I mean, if it had tried to go the route of, oh, he has a friend now and it changes his mind, it would have failed. But instead, it goes the route of, like, okay, Discord, I mean, he is playing Fluttershy, and he, like, she's aware he doesn't totally buy it, but she's kind of hoping she can just give him some space and get through to him that way, and Discord, I don't know if he knows that she knows that, that he knows. But I mean, still though, it's like, okay, you know, she's successfully, not being someone that he has a reason to dislike, have a problem with, and I mean, it's kind of, I mean, they are kind of clever about it, you know, it's not just like, I have a friend and I had a friend before, I literally never thought of that. It's like, you know, instead it's more like, she thinks I care about having a friend. I have no reason to care about that, do I? Well, do I? I mean, I guess, come to think of it, I guess I never have thought about it before. I mean, that did feel pretty good when she said that, I was her friend. I mean, so he, like, tries to make it so that, okay, well, I'm free now, but, I'll still be your friend, though, and when she says no, he's like, alright, fine, well, I guess that's, oh, wow, this really does kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, they almost have to rely on, they still have to lean into the notion that maybe he wasn't everything he thought he was or said he was before, but, you know, they do about the best job I could imagine of still making it, something that actually would affect someone like that. And the fact that I think even better, they don't go the route of, okay, he's totally redeemed now and he just has to always act like he's on their side now because of that. In fact, he wasn't, it wasn't enough. It does ultimately fail. It's only the first step in his development there, which, okay, was really smart and really well done. And I mean, in spite of this episode's tackiness, this is actually kind of the beginning of Discord and Fluttershy's chemistry together and how good they are together. Fluttershy kind of steps up and takes possession of her role as the element of kindness, how she gives him space, gives him a chance, and the way in which she does it, it's not blind faith, and they're smart enough to establish that. And Discord, meanwhile, I mean, just all that they have, turning her house in circles, scaring Angel Bunny, he's still a blast. So, I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's more. So maybe what I'm saying is it's not a perfect whole, but like the parts that work, they really are great, and they really do add up to something. So, I said when I first reviewed it that it was finally that episode to be great, and that way I thought Fluttershy's episodes should, but never quite were. But no, this was its own thing. This introduced Discord into the mix and showed how great he and Fluttershy could play together. The episode to do that is the one we're going to get to next, after your number one.
Yeah, keep calm and flutter. Hooray!
Yeah. You'd be grateful we gave you your money's worth on putting your hoof down.
Yeah, that's true. But I also love the same scenes, of course, where he realizes how much a friend actually means to him. But I also like that she's the only one that actually resists him when they're taking over with the brain stuff.
Oh, back in Return of Harmony.
Yeah.
That moment is as great as it is. That is everything that is wrong and right with that episode at the same time, because that is so hilarious and so perfect. And at the same time, well, if he can just do that, why are we even here? That if there was any doubt before, now it's a dead giveaway that we're just going in circles. There's no plot here. There's just hijinks.
But I just feel like it's better and keep calm and flutter on, because he, learns how it is, and even as you say, when he breaks out, he could also just do like that, and then they will be brainwashed or anything would happen, right? But I also feel like he doesn't want to be turned to stone one more time and wait for even longer times of period. But this with finding a friend and all of this with he finds out what he's missing in his life. Yeah. So I also feel like that's a reason for him to be as jealous as he is in, for example, our episode, because he feels more than friendship. Yeah. Hooray for the Flutter Cord! I know, I just feel like maybe they're not willing to say it in the show, but I feel like they're more than friends. Yeah.
I mean, they could so easily get away with that if they went that route. Yeah, and everybody would love it, and it would be like the donkey and dragon pairing that was not meant to be partly a joke.
I would rather have this than Rarity and Spike. I'm sorry, but I feel like it.
Spike's a little young.
Yeah, but
nothing else.
and still I feel like Rarity is not treating him right. Still, I still feel like there's stuff that is wrong with it, and but he also have to let go. And I feel like this is what he's going to miss. He realizes what he lost, and he
Discord?
Yeah, comes back. Yeah, he wants it back.
Oh, you mean when Fluttershy's like, not your friend.
Yeah, not your friend. Yeah, in that second he realizes everything that he lost with being a friend, and he thought it wouldn't be that important to him, but having a near and dear friend to you is something you can't put a amount on or yeah.
And like how it's like, okay, maybe I do want this, maybe I can, but he's still, it's not that he's learned the lesson so much, it's like, okay, it's just sort of step one, he does want this thing, and and they don't try to make it more than just he wants this thing, like, okay, well, I'm ready to be good most of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I love that as well, because he also needs to have his chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's only fair, I think.
Episodes back that were smarter than friendship fixes everything just like that.
Oh, yay!
Hi. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Alright, my number one episode.
Woohoo! Let's go!
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh god.
And then you find you've got... Yeah, it's Philly Vanilli. Okay. Oy. Yeah.
Vanilla? Okay, yeah.
Well, okay, I said before that, I thought that up to about this point, I usually thought Rainbow Dash was actually cuter than Fluttershy was. I thought, like, how she would try to maybe downplay her emotions or downplay, her vulnerable side. I mean, cute, or, well, at least in the way that people think Fluttershy's cute, like, that almost has to happen in ways that when the character isn't intending to be, and technically Fluttershy's not in her episodes, like, green isn't your color, but the writers are, and you can tell that they are, and they make sure you know they are, but, okay, Philly Vanilli, that time I thought she was adorable.
Aww.
Like, that was...
It's the one with stage
heart-meltingly,
right?
They just...
I'm sorry. No, I get lost.
Dyingly adorable. Like,
yeah.
I mean... because just being cute isn't the point. This day in the life of her, this, like, new conflict she has that she's going through and finding her... or like finding this new part of herself as she steps into the light, like the cuteness is a byproduct of that, and that's exactly what it should be. It's like, okay, stage fight, perfectly relatable, exactly something she would have, and now confronting that head on, it's not just something like in Hurricane Fluttershy that, it's not something you do every day, but people are depending you, and you owe it to yourself to show yourself you can do this. No, it's this is something she would actively want to do if she wasn't afraid, and we can see even when she's sitting on the sidelines, the part where she's just like shaking her hips to the song, and like she is so into it, and she feels like that's where she belongs, on the sidelines. Like that's adorable, and then stepping in for Big Mac, it's just like the whole thing gradually becomes this montage that's just like a burst of joy. It's like, that first show where it's like, okay, she starts to get into it, and then starts, volunteering for other ones after that. We wouldn't want to disappoint but, just how she gets into it more and more, and then, until she's, having the time of her life, like she's, dancing in the bushes, and then, what else? And then
the underwater,
the singing underwater,
and stuff like
just
that.
having fun with the gags like that. They make it just this little story told through a montage of Fluttershy, guilty pleasure to like just almost openly loving it, and that last scene where she pushes Big Mac out into center stage, like she's imagining it herself, and then go like really playing up the singing, getting into it, having the time of her life. It's like, okay, it's like, it says so much with just the song, the same song, and the images. So much character comes out of that, and almost entirely through visuals. The only thing in her way is herself. Otherwise this is exactly what she should be doing. This is, maybe it's not fair to say herself, because psychological issues that affect that, they can be serious, and the episode even makes a great point of that in the moral that, okay, you can't just pretend they're not there, they do matter, and it is important to work through them your own way, but, okay, don't just count yourself out forever. That's the wrong thing to do, because, Fluttershy, she is clearly suppressing a part of herself that, that brings her a lot of joy, actually, that actually is really worth exploring. And, of course, everybody has to try to rein it in because of the Pinkie Pie thing. Yeah, just imagine it. All of those ponies watching you, silently judging you, getting more and more angry. Why wasn't it them? Why wasn't it them?
I forgot about that now, yeah.
It's like,
No,
oh,
that was actually not what I was
sure.
going to talk about. I was like, it's a really good episode to teach children about winning over your stage fright and stuff like that. But yeah, I think like Pinkie Pie is taking it a little bit over the top, but that's Pinkie Pie. Like that's what she does.
Well, I mean, usually she has more of a sweet nature to her, and in
But
moments like,
still.
delighting in beating Big Mac in the turkey call, I mean, okay, we do see a little bit more of her sinister side, a little bit more of her, the schmuck side of Pinkie Pie, but I mean, but it's that moment in particular, the thing where she, like, brings Fluttershy to tears almost in her description of what the other ponies are going to be thinking. And couldn't help but notice, you guys didn't have a problem with that when Fluttershy said it to Rainbow Dash.
No.
The Sonic
true.
Rainbow, just, imagine all the ponies watching you and judging you, or when Rarity said it to Fluttershy in Hearth's Warming Eve, the first Christmas episode. How they're all going to be watching you and silently judging you, and why would you have a problem with that? Or Photo Finish said it to Fluttershy, and you're all going to say that, well, it wasn't as over the top there, it wasn't as mean-spirited, and no, it wasn't. It was a stupid, seen-it-before gag that is obvious and dumb and not.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Not funny! And I'm pretty sure that many knots all work themselves back around to still not funny. It's not funny, it's just not funny.
What happened?
Did you finish recharging the camera after all those knots?
I hope so.
Okay, well, I feel better now. But, alright, and now the part where I explain myself, because this is where I get off saying, like I did in my Secrets and Pies reviews, that bronies are, or at least a lot of, qualifiers. Watered down meanness. But, okay, well, fans in general, even, I feel like a lot of the time, no matter what you're into, you're okay with kind of the same quote-unquote bland sugar, like stuff that, is been there, done that, doing it 100,000 times totally on autopilot. Well, like, it's still giving us ponies, so that's okay, but something that comes out and tries to do something, like, really different than the first reaction so often seems to be just, no! Whoa, you have to put that on our terms first. You can't just do something ambitious. You made the character mean! Look at that! And it doesn't even matter what it was trying to do, what it did do, as long as it violates our term, as long as it is outside the norm in a way we don't like. Or heck, I don't know if there is a way outside the norm we don't like. It's like all the episodes that seem to get like the most praise for like, hey, this is amazing. This is like it seems like they're always about stuff that people all wrote fan fiction about ahead of time. But But, okay.
Sometimes.
But alright, anyway. Okay, coming back around to the point already. I think, though, the Pinkie Pie joke with Fluttershy was a fantastic gag because it knows exactly how lame and nonsensical, in a bad way, the other gags are. Like, we get it. Saying that, you're only going to be facing a large crowd that will be silently judging you. Hey, that's not helpful. Alright, I mean, Pinkie Pie gag, it knows we've seen that gag 100 times before, and it knows we already get it, and that's what it's having fun with. It's like Pinkie Pie, I mean, just like, picture it like that Pinkie Pie and her Pinkie Pie logic has been watching all of these times, watching Rarity help Fluttershy by telling her that it's okay, you're going to be facing down a large crowd that will be silently judging you, and watching Photo Finish say it to her, Pinkie Pie and her Pinkie Pie logic, like, well, that sounds like something not helpful, but it's helpful. I'd better learn how to do that so I can be helpful. And on this day, Pinkie Pie has finally figured it out. Yeah, you're going to be watching a large crowd of ponies that will be silently judging you and seething in jealousy, thinking about how they could have done it so much better. Yeah, like why wasn't it them? Why wasn't it them? And then when you mess up, they turn on you, and then they form an angry mob, and they run you out of Ponyville forever. Isn't that great?
No, it's not.
It's like, yeah, that is exactly how stupid that gag is. Thank you, Pinkie Pie. Thank you, Amy Keating Rogers. That is a perfect gag. That is freaking hilarious. Oy.
And still, I'm over the other end of being just a little tad too much. But yeah.
Well, the more the better, because they're nailing a gag for being that stupid. I mean, we get a joke, and they did it. I mean, I just listed all the times they did it. They did it at least 3 times, and they still don't think we already get the joke. It wasn't funny the first time. It's like saying, I mean, that was done to death before MLP did it, saying something in a really obvious voice, because the truth is the opposite of what they just said. Ugh. The no it's not gag. Get it? 'Cause it's not helpful. Ugh. But I mean, hey, I know that you ladies are fighting over me because I'm a major stud. Get it? 'Cause he's not a major stud. Oi. Or all the thousands of other ones that... Well, I was quoting Sweet Life of Zack and Cody there. We all know that I am the pinnacle of manliness. But, alright. And yeah, and like, this... I mean, okay, it might work even better for me than it should because, like, yeah, bottled up annoyance at this gag, but I mean, like, it's not a fluke if it hits that perfectly. It's like, has its finger right on the pulse. Like Pinkie Pie is so happy that she's helping out as she says this because apparently everybody thinks this is something helpful to do. They don't gather how face-palmingly obvious it is after it's happened 3 times and who knows how many others that we've seen off screen. So she thinks she's being so helpful. She thinks she's helping so much and she has no reason not to because they keep doing this gag and she's making it even bigger. She's being even more helpful, talking about all of the things they're going to do silently. And then she, in fact, like, really sticking the knife in and twisting everybody saying, oh, we're not implying anything bad, are we? No, Pinkie Pie, she is implying something bad. They're going to turn on you. They're going to boo you. And then she, just to really drive it home, takes it to an absolutely ridiculous height, just like, you don't have anything to be afraid of, just them turning on you, becoming jealous, and then forming an angry mob and running you out of Ponyville forever, all because you made a mistake in a talent show. That is one of my favorite gags in all of the entire show, and all anyone can think about is, but that means Pinkie's being not nice!
I also think it's because we don't remember, that it's been done to death a lot of times. You remember, you're better at remembering stuff than I am
don't give me too much credit.
So,
I think that, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I think if I brought up that gag and I said to any random bronies, okay, well, pick out some of the other times they did that, and even if it was just to defend it, they'd say
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
That time Photo Finish did it to Fluttershy when it was such a better gag because Photo Finish wasn't being made.
But I don't remember all of that. But it's the same with the, Pinkie Pie looking at that flower part. You've seen it done to death, and I still think it's funny.
Careful who you tell that to, yeah. It's not even that I've seen it done. Well, it's not even that I've seen it done to death. That's just such an obvious gag. If the punchline is because the character's an idiot, I don't think that's funny. It's not a very good. There's no Pinkie Pie logic there. Like Pinkie Pie thinking that this face-palmingly unhelpful line is not only helpful but will be even better if she makes it bigger. That is like gag Pinkie Pie logic. You can't hold that against her. That's that makes perfect gag logic sense, and
Yeah.
still funny. But I mean, and granted, the episode does roll with that a little bit afterwards, like Pinkie Pie not aware of how, like, unhelpful she's being, or how she's inadvertently being a bit malicious, and I mean, that's stylistic preference. I think that Pinkie Pie having a malicious side now and again, like everybody does, like, I got the best of that person, or like, or being inadvertently insensitive, I don't think it's too far, but I mean, I could also see, like, what, no offense, you really sounded like a dude at the, like, okay, that's the time to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand getting a little annoyed with her there, but like saying that, oh my gosh, it's such a character problem. They're making her so mean. They don't understand that she's so sweet. Of course they understand how Pinkie Pie is usually very sweet and helpful. It's
yeah, I just think like it's because it's against Fluttershy. If it was against one of the other main six, there wouldn't be that big of a problem, right?
It always amps up when it's involving Fluttershy.
Yeah.
That's way too mean. I mean, I could maybe, like Rainbow Dash and putting your hoof down, I could understand, but Fluttershy, she's supposed to be nice.
Yeah.
I already went on about putting your hoof down forever, but
yeah, we did, yeah.
But no,
10 hours later, more. No, I'm just kidding.
But okay, no, I was halfway through something with okay, yeah, the okay, before we went back to Pinkie Pie, I was shoot, now I'm totally blanking.
I'm sorry. It's because I lay my on your shoulder.
Oh, entirely. Cut to when we remember it. The point about whether they remembered the past gag, whether bronies remember past times this joke has been done, which
yeah, you can come in the category of me and not remember, or you can come in his category and remember every single detail of everything.
Well, no, I mean, do not. I have a very poor memory at times. Oh, yeah.
That's why I love him.
But
he keeps all of the details in line.
Oh, yes, I'm the checklist in this relationship.
Yeah, you actually are.
But well, I mean, I think even if you don't remember, though, the gag is kind of a reminder. Like, I mean, the Pinkie Pie saying all these things. Yeah, won't it be great? All of these ponies are judging you, and that's like, oh yeah, like they said before. But then.
But we also discussed about I would personally have found it more funny if she was standing away from her, not having physical contact with her, but standing in a corner and being like, "Oh, ponies is just going to secretly judge you and run you out of Ponyville,"
Well, I
creepy in the background. But that's Pinkamena territory, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what, like, that would seem like they're throwing something else in there with it, like, okay, now Pinkie Pie has had an urge to be sinister too, like that. Yeah. I mean, like, I can get gag logic, like, okay, we've seen this joke before, and now it's her turn to do it, and Pinkie Pie logic inadvertently points out how that gag is dumb and makes no sense, but, like, yeah, she randomly has the urge to be Pinkamena, like, there I'm just like, why?
Yeah, but I think, like, other bronies see it as sinister because it's physically, it's all up in her face.
Well, she's proud of it. That just makes it so much funnier. How sure that she's like, yeah, I'm doing such a great job here.
I understand that.
Like,
but
I mean,
other times it hadn't been like, that.
Well, yeah, it wasn't that played up because, like, they're doing that to play up what blockheads everyone else was being, and all the other times, like, oh yeah, you don't see anything wrong with it. Nothing, like, okay, yeah, we're really supposed to believe that this is them honestly trying to be helpful. But, yeah, we're like, oh, this is so funny because wouldn't you not get how this is helpful too? No, I kind of feel like I would get how that is unhelpful. Like, I mean, I kind of like jokes that really stick the knife in and twist. Jokes that try to be all hands off or like claim their hands up being unsubtly subtle. Like aren't we so clever? Like that's where I'm like.
But you see a difference.
You're too clever by half.
You see a difference between me, saying, for example, a joke from afar and then being all up in your face. right?
Well, granted, now I think I
Yeah.
prefer the latter even more, but
Oh, we're going to have Flutter Pink shipping. Yay!
oh wait, now you're using Pinkie Pie logic.
Yes.
And that's funny.
But you can
I
see,
mean,
like, if we were fighting against something, screaming at each other, where it was negative, it also, like, being up in your face, it's
well,
just
this is
a
the
little
time
bit
to do an in-your-face
uncomfortable
gag, like.
for me, yeah.
Well, I mean, I get that there's a gut reaction there, like, how mean Pinkie is being, but I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, like,
I
mean,
think
try
it's
to,
because it's
like,
Pinkie,
think about this stuff on its own terms, at least, like, just like the snap reaction to every, like, visceral thing that happens, every instance of hardball, every, like, intense argument. I mean, it's getting to the point where, like, okay, there's absolutely no difference in judgment to like, Applejack just randomly deciding that being honest means cutting the fashion ponies down to size as aggressively as possible without being prompted by anything in particular, and Pinkie Pie doing something like this because of, Pinkie Pie gag logic that makes a lot of sense, at least as far as I'm concerned, or Fluttershy, quote Meg Griffin, I'm so used to being everyone's whipping girl, it felt good to do some of the whipping. There is no difference with how bronies perceive those and how they perceive something like the Applejack thing. It's all, the character was so mean and unlikable. And, like, it doesn't matter if it's really cleverly thought out writing or if it's dumb, cut corners of logic writing, it gets the same reaction. I'm like,
but I think also then it's the problem with, we want it to be so cookie, what is that, dancing on rainbows and everything is going to be fine in My Little Pony universe.
No, I mean, I get
no
that.
negative, no, sadness, no, where it's too much. Yeah, that's also why they don't like put your hoof down, because it's so, it hits you so close, so it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mr. Enter, like, I saw his takedown of that, and I mean, like, honestly, I agree with you that that's what it is, but I mean, they're always, like...
There will always be...
One thing is, like, okay, you get, like...
Sugarcoating.
You can't change what your visceral reaction is to it, and as such, they're always gonna try to, like, throw in a logic to it. Like, Mr. Enter tried to throw in a thing like, that's just totally crossing a line, like, telling her that her friends have no worth, that she personally finds no value in that. Like, I'm sure that's exactly what was going through her mind in this moment. Like, he tried to say, like, make your characters totally unlikable and make no sense while you do so. I'm like, it makes perfect sense, dude, don't kid yourself. And, I mean, that's like, I mean, I get that, I didn't always see things the same way when I was younger, or when like, before I became kind of a film buff. I mean, like, there's such there is such a thing as learning to pick out nuances that you might not have noticed before, and that sounds entirely snobby and rude, but I mean, like, I don't know, I think, and I get that a lot of people latch onto the show, because, it was so good at being
sweet and
likable, and, like, just, I mean, it had a genuine sense of just, like, optimism and kindness to it. It's had that since the beginning, but I mean, I think there's a difference between, quote, Morgan Freeman in a deleted scene of Bruce Almighty, you want to paint a picture, you gotta use some dark colors, like that. I think that you acknowledge the full scale of emotions, you take that on, and you come out with something positive, and so if you want to do the optimistic approach, you take that on directly, and you come out with something optimistic and sensible and helpful. You don't just slather on the syrup and, like, good stuff, dump extra syrup on that, no problem. And I mean,
but I also, like, maybe we also get afraid it actually looks so much as a real life. We're trying to escape into the cartoon. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say everybody gets so afraid that, okay, this is gonna be Pinkie Pie forever or something like that. Like, of course it's not. It's a gag. It's a gag that, the thing about jokes is they're only funny if you don't run them into the ground.
I think like she apologized after and stuff like that, as far as I remember. Yeah.
Well, Rarity was like, "Oh, Pinkie Pie, don't be ridiculous." She's like, "Oh, but I'm so good at it." It's like, no, okay, Pinkie Pie's not being like malicious. She's not trying to hurt Fluttershy. She's using Pinkie Pie logic. She doesn't get it in that moment. That's comedy.
As you also said, like sometimes we say stuff without thinking, and that may hurt your loved ones, even though that we're trying to help. Huh?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's like everybody's so mad at this because they're like, oh, well, they're calling me out for my stuff. I'm insane. Like, no, I'm not accusing anyone of anything like that. I mean, I don't know about you, but...
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I just think it's more like, you know, the sense of, oh, these sweet, special characters and we can come to just feel good and like, whoa, that doesn't feel good. That's like...
We don't like the notion of them being...
you messed up that massage, that
yeah.
massage of tingly rainbow goodness and now... crimped. I'm like, no, let it happen. If you can work with what they were trying to do, that's gonna get iron out a real spot of tension. That's gonna be the thing you didn't know you needed. That was hilarious.
But maybe, after people will be like, that was actually not what I needed and starting to hurt again.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's more like they jump off the table before the guy even finishes. Like, whoa, what are you trying to do? Kill it.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead
of
just...
I'm Amy Keating Rogers. I'm the writer who's been doing this longer than anyone else. Of course I know what I'm doing. Sit down and let me...
massage you,
Let me go that deep tissue comedy, because I have my finger right on the pulse there.
I would probably question her, but I would not move away. Yeah.
Alright, well, don't get too deep into this metaphor here. We're talking about something that actually happened, how to take this joke.
That's also what I'm saying. I'm questioning it.
So you questioned the joke, but you did not bail on it.
No, yeah.
I mean, I don't think
and you took it,
I don't think it's particularly hard to see what it's going for if you don't just, like, shut it out before it's even finished. Like, it knows exactly what it's doing, and it is so on point. It is so funny. It is like a perfect satirical jab.
You also have to realize that there will be people that don't find it funny.
Well, that's everybody. Like, all they can talk about is, oh, you got Pinkie Pie so wrong. You made her so unlikable. You just think you can do whatever you want with her. Just make her so ridiculous. The Ninja DC group considers that one of Pinkie's low points. The movie fan, the guy I first did blog collaboration, my first ever collaborations on MLP, he did one of his very rare occasional videos ranting about how it is the Pinkie Pie problem. It is the sign of the Pinkie Pie problem. Everybody I bring up Philly Vanilli with said, oh yeah, all good except for the Pinkie Pie moment. I'm like, no. You talk about this like it's on par with those face-palmingly terrible gags in Party Pooped or Spike at Your Service. Yeah. It doesn't matter that this is a million times more clever than those. It matters that, hey, you made Pinkie Pie like not a force for positivity for a second there. I'm like, that's the point. That's comedic misunderstanding. You still have your lovable Pinkie Pie.
They don't understand that.
Of course they understand. It's not like I'm sitting up here speaking a different language. They're sitting there understanding what I'm saying and thinking about how they can pull out some sort of some sort of way to flip it around and just like, but it was like they didn't take it back, or they continued that they got behind the notion that Pinkie is unlikable because, I mean, I don't like, I mean, I've learned long since, don't just accuse people of misunderstanding, because I mean, it's like, it's not a question, I mean, audiences are smart. It's not a question of what they understand. It's a question of what they're open to. Or what they open themselves up to. Yeah. Open yourself to this, darn it! It's hilarious.
Well, it's
hilarious.
Not to happen. Maybe you will find it hilarious, and you're sweet and kind.
Oh, shucks. It's still hilarious. And the fact that there are a lot of bronies that just get into MLP being this permanently sweet rainbow-filled land does not change that. This is like, what, This is like the backlash with that
I tried.
positively reviewed.
One eternity later.
I just loved, that you can pick out all of these small nuances and, all of these details, but most of
Lots of
us
people
can't.
No. Audiences are smart. They can't. They like. I mean,
Okay,
granted,
who's right? Give us a comment down.
Oh yeah, everybody's going to comment saying, "Yeah, Daylover's right. We're dumb."
I'm not saying that you're dumb. I'm just saying, like, you see more details and nuances than a normal, person does. I see some, other things that I'm good at doing, but yeah, that's just.
Granted, I am uncommonly anal retentive, but I mean, like, okay, I know, and I mean, well, heck, I've been in that boat. Like, yeah, they're just being younger and. Younger and not being used to thinking about things in a certain light.
You have to watch the
and that's why I got really into critics. I started to get into thinking about these things in a different sort of way. But I mean, like, I don't think that, like, heck, assume that there is somebody watching who has never thought of things from this perspective before. Like I said, audiences at any age, like. I mean, knowledge changes with age, intelligence doesn't. I don't think there's somebody who's gonna be sitting here thinking I'm speaking French or something like that.
I think, like, intelligence also, evolves with your age.
In the strictest definition, I don't know, like, wisdom evolves, knowledge evolves. I don't think intelligence changes, like... But,
it does.
I mean, granted, if you, like, get hit in the head with a hammer really, really hard at some point, then intelligence might change, but... okay, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the audience who's gonna be like... What did you say? I think it's a question of whether you're... I mean, maybe some people who haven't, like, thought about it this way before, but even people like that, I feel like, it's a question of just whether you're willing to consider it, or whether you're...
Yeah, if you're willing to take
whether I'm being good enough at communicating, whether I make good spelling with my grammar and make good words and stuff.
Yeah.
And... But yeah, whether I'm communicating my point well enough, whether...
Being with a dyslexic girlfriend, yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. And great, we've spent a lot of time talking about one joke, but then again, like, how passionate people get about that one moment and how much has been said about it, I think it might actually be kind of warranted. But, okay.
But I think, like, we're almost done with it.
Yeah. Point being, makes Philly Vanilli even more awesome. So.
Yeah, he thinks like that, yeah?
Episode that is a complete burst of joy, Pinkie Pie moment that is absolutely hilarious. And actually, I mean, I guess you could argue that she's still, even outside of that, maybe the low point of the episode because, like,
but it should be okay for them to feel like they do.
No, it is not, because I am right. It's almost ironic. I mean, I play second opinion as self-parody clarifier. Like, I'm actually of the belief that nobody can agree on everything all the time, and, like, your natural reaction to something, okay, that's not wrong, but I mean, maybe there's, and in fact, like, okay, the way you're supposed to review something is taking your natural reaction and communicating it in a knowledgeable way, in a way that effectively paints the picture of what happened to you. But okay.
Here, I wanted you to comment. Here. Silver platter.
I'm in the middle of a profound point here, lady, you mind? Okay, but there's also, I mean, that the point of then taking, like, looking at reviews, watching them, reading them, whatever, is that, okay, maybe that this other person has managed to see it in a way that you haven't, been, for pure mindset going into it, or because they're maybe used to seeing things that you're not, or your field of vision pertains to your experiences and they have a totally different one. I mean, and I think that what a lot of people are missing about this one is that there is really a lot of cleverness behind this gag, and it's like, I mean, and you don't have to say it was worth it. You can say, like, sorry, I want Pinkie Pie to make me feel good every second she's on screen, but I think that is a total waste. I think that, just this gag, I mean, I think I felt great in that Pinkie Pie moment, because, I mean, I think that, okay, it's slamming a moment that hasn't treated, that 3 moments, in fact, that did not treat their audience with a lot of respect, that did not have a lot of respect for their intelligence, that phoned it in that much, and, Pinkie Pie's taking that and sticking the knife into it, like... Okay, well, that sounds a bit Pinkamena, okay, but,
Yeah.
like...
Welcome back.
Yeah. Like...
Standing in the corner with the knife.
Okay, that's what you think makes perfect sense. So then does it make perfect sense for me to think that it's okay to take it this far? It's hilarious. I mean, the bit on the other hand, the bit at the end where she keeps jumping in, like, to bring it down, it's like, okay, now you're starting to repeat the joke a little bit, and I mean, there's some funny points here, like Pinkie Pie, like although, no offense, you kind of sounded like a dude. Really, like, okay, fine timing. I mean, like, those lines almost, like, make me laugh and groan at the same time, because it's like, okay, like, now you're starting to run it, like, okay, how far do you have to go before Pinkie Pie gets the picture? But I mean, it's like, but it's still funny. It's like that, yeah, she still takes note of that, and, like, comedic timing. But yeah, that on top of it, and even, that moment too, how it builds its way to, like, even that has kind of a purpose, like, okay, no, we're not going to descend into sweetness just yet, there are hard feelings here, and, okay, Pinkie Pie even reminds us what some of them are, for, even if she, starting to get a bit dense, but it's like, okay, no, we need to build to this point on how, okay, you can't just pretend those aren't there, they still matter, and Fluttershy has to take into account that they still matter, but she, this is still something she wants to work towards, because, like, she's able to recognize now that, she did discover something pretty cool about herself, something that she wants to explore more, and, something that, as we've seen from, one of the most... from one of the happiest montages I can honestly remember in this show, that, this is something worth pursuing.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, we are done, I think.
Yes.
Hooray!
Ending with a profound second opinion line. You drew it out with all that debating with me.
I know, but I just wanted them to feel good as well. Second day away.
Anyway, and next time, rarity, because I don't think it makes any sense to go this far with everyone else and then not end with the main character, so... Yeah. And then other characters afterwards
are
that are
coming
outside of the
afterwards.
original main 6.
Yeah.
Alright, take care everybody.
Bye.